associates here.
We're the replacement, so we're listening too.
Oh!
You're standing here on a very significant old historical place.
Okay.
For
Big
California.
industry
Yeah.
for the city of Redondo Beach. Imagine yourself 100 years ago, the turn of the last century, on a horse maybe, or a train. The wharf existed. You know where Sapphire Street is, where it comes out to the beach? Not anymore. There was a wharf there, a long wharf.
Yeah, we saw it at Morel House. There were pictures of it.
There you go. So ships were coming in, and shipping was big business here. By the early 20s, roaring 20s, Redondo Beach took care of about 60% of all shipping in Los Angeles. We had deep water, ships lined up, we had rail cars coming on the wharf. This was a busy place. What was the most important industry then? One of the most prime products we needed? Wood. Hence, what we had here was a series of lumber milling companies. Okay, and the rail cars would ship the logs coming from Oregon on the ships, and ship them right up the rail cars and dump them off here. Okay, so we had a series of lumber mills, planing mills, and then occurred in the 20s, mid-20s, what else was happening is the economy was booming. Residents were coming in and building their homes. Okay, and we had lots of nice homes built in the 20s here with ocean views for the peaceful and quietness of Redondo Beach and what it offers. And this lumber mill and lumber yard was interfering with the people's quietness and desiredness of peacefulness. So they complained to the city council. City council shut
So the
the
city
wharf
council
down.
moved that thing instead.
Yeah, that's another story about that.
Yeah, that's it.
Power plant. But they needed power to run the mills, right? So they shut that wharf down, but it wasn't over yet because that could have meant the end of the lumber industry. Instead, the lumber industry went back to the government, the city council, and said, "Look at all these jobs. Look at all these jobs you're going to lose." Well, okay, they extended that lease a little longer on that wharf, kept it operational for 3 more years. There were about 200 homes in the area being built at the time. They needed wood. Wood was in high demand. Well, they gave them 3 more years on that lease, and then they just tore that wharf down. So that was 1926. 1926. So the lumber industry had to transform. They transformed into woodwork. They used a lot of the existing machinery here to come up with the Whittle Woodcraft, which is what these buildings became, Whittle Woodcraft, in the late 30s, early 40s. So it was Whittle Woodcraft 30s and 40s. It transformed then into leasing out for other industrial products and services. And for the last 20 years, Mr. Stevens has owned this art gallery here, and it's been an art gallery, bringing in a lot of good artwork and art receptions and lots of nice atmosphere to add to the bohemian, old-time atmosphere that you have. Now, in the rear of this building, there is a frozen fish storage place that also occurred much after the woodcraft industry ended, but fishing was still good here. They needed a place to store frozen fish. Hence, the Cannery Row name of the art studio comes from the frozen fish, but essentially, Cannery Row is more like Monterey Cannery. Two interesting things to look at is behind us, you will see the existing rails that still exist in the street, and that is, those are the rails. That's so that you know I'm not making this all up. It's really there. Those existing rails, which then transported the wood between one factory to the other, probably more commercial was at one end and industrial at another. And then, of course, you're standing under a 120-year-old eucalyptus tree. Now, how about that for you? This tree you will see in all the photographs that you'll see when you walk in here. But the tree, we need to look at this because it's maybe down. Well, the road's going to be the road's going to get redone. We have commercial, industrial uses coming in, a strip mall coming in, new development, new roads, new sewers, routes into the ground, and but who knows? Maybe we'll be able to save it. But keep your eye on that tree because it's something that we need to preserve and save. So we have another added. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk a little bit about the building, and then you guys can leave, and I can backtrack with this. The building here is made of this is original exposed wood, which you still see. This is the original wood from 1887 when the building was built, and then of course it's been stucco reinforced, and then the windows that you see up there at the peak, those are the triangular windows near the roof line. Those are all original windows. That was probably the office of the lumber company at the time. And then as you walk inside, you'll see more of the original rafts and wood, and then some photographs of the area and of the history that I just talked about.
Great. Well, thank you.
Okay, great. And welcome, and we'll